Hello and welcome. So there has been a lot of noise about the leaks of votann FAQ, with all their points rising. And now I'm against FAQs, it makes the rules more complicated. And by changing rules in the codexes, it means there's a lot more to remember, and plus you might have to bring your phone and the codex and pieces of paper with you. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of FAQs. But I do think the leaks of votann FAQ needs to be spoken about, as it seems to be more affected by heightened emotions and misinformation, whether deliberate or not. Now, those who are regular viewers of mine know I like to take a neutral stance, siding with what I can see as facts and not taking a stance against Workshop or with them or against them. If they do something right, I'll say that. If they do something wrong, I'll say that just as much, because it's important to be truthful and be with what you know. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think Games Workshop did actually do anything wrong this time. They're not perfect by a long shot, but yet for once GW actually did the right thing. Now, first argument I've seen is that Games Workshop did this after the army boxes sold out. Yes, it is no longer available on their site. So people are saying this is bad business practice. They were hyped up for this box. They bought the box and now all the points have been changed. Yeah, it does seem like a shady business practice, but let's think about this. You get early access for Steam games, and you get day one patches after people who have bought and been able to play a game prior to release. These things happen. We see this all the time in every other form of medium. We get books republished. We get, you know, Magic the Gathering cards to rules change. Because Yu-Gi-Oh has seriously the most amount of cards which are banned from tournaments. So yes, this happens all the time. People buy the cards and now we can't use them. And of course, with Games Workshop, model units and things like that, points change. Makes it more expensive, makes weapons weaker, etc. Now, what needs to be remembered that it was only 4 units in the codex that were available to the general public. You had destroyers, the jet bikes, and 2 HQ choices. And not only that, the army set is still available from third-party stores, so you can buy it, but it will be cheaper than ever now. So yes, saying that they did it after it was sold out, though you can blatantly see that that is not true, as you can buy it. The other thing is that Codex has not had a proper release. People are going to say, well, I've got the Codex, I got this limited edition one from the army set. You cannot go to the Games Workshop shop or store or online site or anywhere else and except eBay obviously, and buy the regular standard codex or maybe a limited edition if they release that on its own. You can't do it at the moment. It's not been released. So Games Workshop actually fixed this army before it was fully released. So it gives Games Workshop a chance to maybe, hopefully, reprint the codices before they come out properly. I hope they do, otherwise, you're going to literally have to print off everything and just to get this points change. I hope they do actually, because it would make a lot more people happier if they actually make the codex usable from the start. Right, there's another argument that Games Workshop could have fixed this before the box was released because playtesters said the leaks of votann was broken. Look, I have no source for this outside of hearsay, so if it's hearsay, I tend to take it with a massive amount of salt. And if you remember, the leaks that made GW drop a lot of outside playtesters because of Angron being leaked when it shouldn't have. So there was a lot less playtesters this time round for this army. So they wanted to avoid leaking LOV as much as possible, so there were less playtesters, ones they could trust more than anyone else for this codex. FAQs also usually happen after tournaments, right? Okay, it's a bit of a weasel word there, using the word usually, but it's true. So even with the playtesters, Games Workshop still uses real-world data from external games to fix codices. Now, this removes a lot of sterility of playtesting. See, playtesting is good, but real-world games actually help a lot better because it sees how people actually play the game in real settings. Playtesting is very much, let's look at this rule, let's see how it works, etc. etc. Well, real world is like, let's play it as we go. Wait, is this how this rule works? Do we check up? No, let's just continue. It's a lot more organic than what would be in a playtesting situation. Finally, out of it was all heightened emotion. This is what it's been, and the arguments have been just people who are, it's the hype, it's the nostalgia, it's all that. That's how made it worse. Like, because this is Leagues of Votann, it happened to this brand new faction, kind of, and it hasn't happened to anyone else. How do I know this? The Chaos Knights army box was out a month before they got an FAQ. They had their own new army box to show that they weren't just spiky Imperial Knights anymore. They had their own models. Now there was no shouting about how Games Workshop only waited for Chaos Knights army box to sell out before they FAQ'd that faction. Now, Leagues of Votann or the squads haven't had official rules since 3rd edition. Look, so Games Workshop not getting a perfect day one probably upset a lot of people. People who are feeding on the nostalgia and the hype. People who are looking forward to it because they remembered playing squads. Or people who heard of squads and thought, that's a cool army, let's use them. Okay? But they had no rules since 3rd edition. And that's the problem. There was a lot of hype. So anyway, I never listen to hype anyway. I try to avoid it as much as possible. If I don't like the look of an army, I'm not going to buy it. And squads never accept the vehicles, which I'll probably convert anyway into my Imperial Guard. I've not liked a lot of these models. I didn't like the bikes. I didn't like the jet bikes. I didn't like the named characters being, 2 in 1 box. It just seems stupid to me. I didn't like this. So Leagues of Votann getting an FAQ before it's properly released, hopefully having a more balanced army for all the units and the standard codex is released, is exactly what we wanted. This is the sort of thing that we've always wanted. We wanted them to come out properly, and if they have to do a soft release with a few models or something like that beforehand, so they can get an organic and natural checks on the game and how it actually works outside of a sterile playtesting area, then yeah, I'm actually for that. I don't mind that so much. If a few people get to play it naturally in a proper situation before they come out properly, yeah, I'm actually for that. So they fixed it before it's released, and everyone's complaining about that. It wasn't. It's just a bit silly. So anyway, this is what I've seen, and these are what I know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you and get a bit of a clearer picture on the whole thing. I don't think Games Workshop should have apologised at all. I don't think they actually did anything wrong this time. Anyway, link to Wayland Games is down below. As is Patreon, all the Forbidden Planet My Comics t-shirts, all that down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.